that continue to receive praises ever since.
The coat of arms is a relic of our history. It was well thought of. I would say it's very solid. The symbols over there have very solid meanings.
The Ghana coat of arms is composed of a shield divided into 4 quarters by a green St. George's cross rimmed with gold. There is a crossed linguist staff and ceremonial sword on a blue background, which is at the top left-hand quarter, representing local administration and traditional authority. There is a heraldic castle and a heraldic sea with a light background at the top right-hand quarter, which represents a presidential palace and a national government. At the bottom left-hand quarter is a cocoa tree, which represents the agricultural wealth of the country. A mine at the bottom right-hand quarter represents the mineral wealth of Ghana. There is a gold lion positioned in the center of the green St. George's cross, representing the continuing link between Ghana and the Commonwealth. There is also a black 5-pointed star rimmed with gold standing on the wreath of red, gold and green colors on the top of the shield, which represent the lone star of African freedom. 2 eagles around each of whose neck hangs a black star suspended from a ribbon of Ghana's colors, red, gold and green, are supporting the shield on the left and right hand sides, which signifies a protector with strength, very clear and attentive eyes keeping watch over the country, and finally, with the country's motto freedom and justice, found under the shield representing national aspirations. When I spoke with the architects of the coat of arms, Amunkote, in 2007 at age 92, 4 years after he died, he expressed worry about the misrepresentation of the national coat of arms by some institutions.
Is not the coat of arms, and I am really shocked. If anybody will ever that this sort of thing is the coat of arms, if I'm able, no, if I yes, have the time, I will challenge. Say, this is not my coat of arms. If this piece is allowed to remain in the country as the coat of arms, I say no. And as long as I live, I will keep saying no.
However, it appears growth and development has caught up with the national coat of arms, that is raising questions about one of its symbols and what it represents in Ghana's history. The castle sitting on the Gulf of Guinea, which represents the presidential palace and the national seat of government, as captured by every history and national textbooks and on the internet, can now be disputed. In November 2008, President Kufuor inaugurated the then Golden Jubilee House to take over as the new seat of government. In January 2009, the incoming government of Professor John Evans Atta Mills moved the seat of government back to the Osu Castle and later called it the Flagstaff House. But since the 2012 general elections and upon the election and subsequent assumption of office by President Mahama in 2013, the Flagstaff House has remained the seat of Ghana's government, housing the president, his vice, and the administration of state. The president has just marked his 1 year in office from the Flagstaff House, and it appears the house now is accepted by both the leading opposition party, NPP, and the governing NDC, as well as other political parties, as the official presidential palace or the seat of government. With this development, I question whether it is now time to amend the symbol at the top right-hand quarter of the national coat of arms, which is a castle in the Gulf of Guinea and representing the national seat of government, since the new seat of government is neither a castle nor sits on the sea.
The seat of government has moved to the Flagstaff House, and the symbol indicates something at the castle on the Gulf of Guinea, which we are no longer using as our seat of government. So the signal it generally sends is that we must think smartly as a people, and let's look at coming up with a new meaning or a new design that will reflect the Flagstaff House. Until that is done, it has no meaning, because the Flagstaff House is now our seat of government, and being the seat of government, it must also embody all our symbols or most of our national symbols. So if we want to still maintain the coat of arms as something which is still significant in our country, in our history, in our current government, what it means is that the symbol showing the castle on the Gulf of Guinea must now reflect that of the Flagstaff House.
Right now, I don't even know what the castle is being used for. But we all agree it is no longer a seat of government. Unless, of course, we want to change what the castle on the sea represents in the coat of arms. That is also something we can do. We can change the meaning. And then maybe that is easier to do. And say that it used to represent our national government.
The present interpretation given to the symbol, the castle symbol in the coat of arms, is limited, particularly when the seat of government has been moved to the Flagstaff House. So there is a need to review the interpretation that is given to it to reflect perhaps a much broader view of the castle in Ghana's political history.
The experts, however, believe there is still relevance to the symbol, but the meaning ought to be amended to suit the current national development.
The symbol is relevant, the meaning can change. But even the meaning would not change so much. It's part of our history. I wouldn't advocate for a recarving of our coat of arms, because everything there is symbolic. In actual fact, the meaning they gave to the castle in there was that it was the seat of government. All we can say is that it used to be the seat of government, and it's part of our history.
It should not be particularized to mean the Christiansborg Castle, which has been the seat of government only. Okay. In that case, we can retain the symbol in the coat of arms and then modify the interpretation a little bit. Okay. And I believe that will be my preference.
It was relevant when we hadn't changed the seat of government. But considering the fact that we now have a new seat of government, posterity will ask, so what is this castle supposed to mean? And especially when castles in this country have been linked to slavery and to the slave trade, I'm sure we're going to confuse future generations about really what it means to say that we have a castle which is on the Gulf, and then they will ask you, so what is the significance of this? Because symbols are not just symbols, they have meanings.